All right, let's talk about Archimedes today, specifically the Archimedes Eureka moment, how insight actually happens. So we have these moments, these kinds of aha moments, and I want to talk through 5 ways that we can kind of nurture them and nudge them along, nudge ourselves along to the possibility of having more Eureka moments, those aha moments in solving problems when we're trying to make decisions, discover things, and so forth. So Archimedes, a mathematician from the 200s BC, and a philosopher. And the idea of the Archimedes Eureka moment comes from this situation where the king has this crown that's been given to him, and it's supposed to be solid gold, but there's suspicion that it has been kind of adulterated with silver. And so the question is, well, how can you tell? How do you discern this? And Archimedes is trying to come up with a plan to figure this out. And he discovers it not while just sitting there staring at the crown, but he's taking a bath. And as he takes a bath, he notices that as he gets in the water, that the water gets displaced. It moves up because of the weight of his body going into the bath. And that moment, that experience triggers the solution to the problem that he could submerge the crown, and you can determine the density of the crown based upon how much the water is displaced. Aha, he gets it, he goes and he helps figure out the problem. So that's why we call it the Archimedes Eureka moment. So do you want more of those in your life? I certainly do. I enjoy that. I have so much fun diving into topics and then waiting for those Eureka moments to kind of emerge, because it's not something you can really force entirely. But I will give you 5 things that you can do, that I can do, that can lead us to having a better chance of having some of those breakthrough Eureka moments along the way. And it's not earth-shattering. As I share these, there's a lot of common sense in them, but when we put them all together in a short video like this, you can start to think about and put them into practice through actual regular habits and the like. So first one is you want to fill your mind up. So if you're trying to study a topic, and I do this regularly, I pick 1 to 3 topics a year usually where I want to deepen my understanding or my expertise, and I just fill myself up with experiences and knowledge related to it. I talk to people who are experts about it. I watch documentaries. I read books. I watch YouTube videos. I read articles. I sometimes do little simple experiments where I try things out, so applied version of the knowledge. And I am really just enjoying it. It's almost like I'm swimming in a pool of knowledge about this topic. And I'm exploring the breadth of the pool, all the corners and the middle and the bottom of the pool and the top of the pool. I'm just swimming around and enjoying it and getting to know it. And that is the first part of leading to the Eureka moment, is to kind of give yourself a depth of knowledge. I talk about this as digging a deep well, and as opposed to a shallow well that in times of drought sort of dries up really quickly. You want to build a really deep well of knowledge about the topic. Now, just having a depth of knowledge and facts and other things like that about a topic doesn't necessarily lead you to having aha moments, but you have a deeper body of knowledge, so it's going to put you in a better position to have some aha moments as you start to make connections between different parts of that knowledge over time. But if you don't have that, if it's not hidden in your head, that becomes problematic. That's why this contemporary age sometimes, where people just feel like, well, I can Google or go to YouTube and find the information when I need it. That's fine. The problem is you only have the knowledge for that moment or for that time. And sometimes to develop real expertise and to gain real insight and to solve problems, you have to put all the stuff together. It's like when someone is trying to solve a crime, you have that image in the films of them having the big, on the wall, they put all of the different images there, and they're drawing lines between them and trying to make connections. Well, that's this stage. You're trying to put all the knowledge and the information, all the facts that you have, all the clues you have in front of you, and you can kind of move them around later, but you're just trying to get them all in your head so that you can work with them. The second one then is, interestingly enough, you've done this a lot, you want to actually step away. So we know that incubation fuels problem solving. That's why oftentimes you're trying to solve a problem and you step away for a few minutes an hour, or maybe it's even you go to sleep and you wake up with the answer. I've even had sort of dreams of solutions sometimes because your mind is at rest and it gives you time to just sort of step away, and then it can kind of come together. So you fill yourself up with knowledge, and then you take some breaks, short breaks, even a little bit longer breaks sometimes. In fact, there's a treasure hunt, an active treasure hunt going on that I'm exploring for fun right now. It's a national treasure hunt, and I'll go through the book. I'll take all my notes. I have about 130 pages of notes organized in different ways, and then I step back and I'll take a whole week off and I won't even think about it. And then I'll come back and I'll look at it, and I'll notice that some of my favorite ideas aren't necessarily favorite anymore. They were really not as strong as I thought they were. And then others actually start to pop out. I start to notice things a little bit more. So incubation, really helpful. The third one then is to change your environment. So this is classic to the Archimedes tale that I shared at the beginning, where he goes to a new environment. He's literally in a bathtub, right? And so you're exploring something and you take a break and you go to a new environment. And you see this often in stories, in literature, and in film. This is how they try to represent aha moments. But it's real. It actually happens where you're going on a walk and you're enjoying something new and unrelated, but you notice something or a pattern or an event or a phrase, and all of a sudden your mind is kind of working on the problem in the back, even though you've taken a break, and you're able to take that experience almost like as a metaphor or an example, or it's a different scenario situation, but you begin to apply it to your situation. So by intentionally putting yourself in novel environments, so you're digging deep, you're exploring, you're filling yourself up with knowledge, you're taking some breaks, and then you're going and trying some new things, putting yourself in some new environments, it can build some really neat connections. Then we go to the fourth one, is to play. And play has worked this way for a long time. So play can be playing with the ideas that you have, manipulating them, moving them around, using puzzles and games. But actually just playing puzzles and games can get your brain thinking differently. So keep in mind that when you're trying to solve a problem, it's not just dealing with the knowledge that you have, but you have patterns of thinking that you're using. So you're using a certain pattern, a certain problem-solving strategy in your mind to try to solve the problem. And that's actually sometimes the reason why you're stuck, is you're using the wrong tool for that situation, or the tool that's less helpful. So when you start to play a different game, you play a different kind of game, or you're in a different kind of puzzle, your brain has to think differently to solve that puzzle. So you're priming your mind to think in a different way than it was before, and then you take that thinking pattern and you look at the knowledge you had before, and all of a sudden you might notice something you missed otherwise. It's pretty neat when you notice it happening. And then the fifth thing is, do not forget your ideas. When you have insights or questions or instincts, write them down. Wake up in the middle of the night, keep that notebook beside your bed, jot things down there. When you're driving along, if you have your phone, you can do a quick audio recording to store things. I actually use AI sometimes this way, where I will talk into AI and have it record or summarize my thoughts or my ideas if I'm driving, so that I can do it safely, or if I'm going quickly, even walking from one place to the next, and then I can drop that text into my notes later. But make sure you capture what you're doing. If you do these 5, you are setting yourself up to more likely have some eureka and aha moments. Now, it's not guaranteed, but this is how it actually happens. This is a breakdown of how it's not some kind of weird magic or something like that. This is actually how our brains are designed, and how we get to these epiphanies, these eureka moments, these aha moments, these discoveries, these breakthrough moments, is by sort of stacking the deck with these 5 things. Now, there's certainly some other tips I could have added as well, but these 5 are a great starting point. I hope you find it useful. And as always, I look forward to your comments.